I've been fired a couple times. Let go though, mostly. Never fired for like my performance. Mostly.
That's what they told you.
Right. And that is what they tell me. But it always coincided with like we're laying off a couple people. Like my first job in New York, I got it like 2 weeks after I graduated. I got off like fucking Craigslist. It was so weird, but it ended up being a cool job where I got to go to like events in New York and write about them online. And so, I was the events manager there at the time, and about a year into being there, my boss like took me to this place. This like I know that you guys know the place, but I'm not trying to say the name of it. It's just a coffee place, like a lunch place, and took me there to like talk with me. For some reason, this didn't raise any flags for me. I was like, oh, she just wants to talk. Maybe she wants to tell me I'm doing great. Like maybe this, maybe that. And I also helped like manage the books a little bit, so I knew like where the company was financially. And she like sat me down. She was like, "Hey, listen, I don't think we're gonna keep you on. If you want to stay," she's like, "if you want to stay, you can do." I was also helping with like photography sales. We would I don't know why I was helping with so many things, but we were also people could hire photographers from us to then go photograph their personal parties, and then they would put on our website. It was like a whole thing. So she was like, you can get commission off of that and you can stay, but we can't afford to pay you anymore, which, by the way, I was getting paid $25,000 for that job a year.
What?
And this is in 2013, by the way, so it was so illegal. And
that does sound highly
$25,000 a year. And then, so her response to me was like, you can stay, and the money you can like earn. I also wasn't living in New York, and I was commuting 2 hours each way. I was just so excited to like be in the city. And, but this commission I would have gotten every sale, I think she said like 10% of like every sale. The highest sale I could get was like $300. Like it was only a 2 hour like at a time for a photographer. Like it wasn't anything crazy. So I had to leave just because of that. And I like still have such a salty fucking taste in my mouth about that, because I'm like, I hated how I was, if you're going to fire me, fire me. Yeah. Don't insult me by saying, well, you can stay and like basically work for free. You know how bad I want to move here, and you know that I can't. You know that like all I do is work for you all the time. You know that I just graduated. I don't know shit. And I felt just like so disrespected by it. To this day, I'm still really fucking salty about it. I think it was like a really awful way to handle that.
Yeah. Do you have any advice for people who have been let go from their jobs and how to handle it? Because I feel like you said it's happened to you a couple of times.
It has, yeah.
And how do you deal with that?
The first, it's happened to me now 3 times. And the third time was during the pandemic. So that was kind of like, it was a little different. But the other times...
Almost, it
was better.
Sad, but also excited.
It was sad, but it was good because I ended up here. But I also...
and so many people are going through the same thing.
That is the thing. So I have this fact also. Right now, currently, there are 10 million people still unemployed. 10 million is the number at this moment. 6.2% of Americans. And so I was like, oh yeah, whatever, laid off. But being amongst a million other people who were also, it didn't make it so bad. But the other 2 times, it was like very fucking embarrassing. I felt so ashamed being like, everybody seems to be getting all these jobs. Everyone seems to be doing so well. And I just got like, they don't even care to keep me enough that they don't even want to pay me. And then like, you will always get another job. Like never think that you're not going to get another job. You will. It might not be the one that you want. It might be something ridiculous or something that you can maybe like hone in on a skill that maybe could benefit you later. Like that job I described before where I was working with, my clients were financial people. I don't know shit, but I in doing that, I got to hear some of the things people were saying. I got to like schmooze with people. I know what it's like going into like a banking office. Like I kind of had an experience that I probably wouldn't have had otherwise.
And you probably wouldn't want to been there forever anyways.
No,
like,
definitely not.
Just
definitely
kind
not.
of like a drop you learn and you leave.
Don't ever think like if you get laid off from a job or if you get fired or something like that, that's like the end of your fucking road. Like you will find something, and don't focus so much on like, I need to have my dream job, my cool job right away. Like you'll get there eventually. You need to like hit some steps on the way there, and just remember that, and you'll feel better about it, I think. I wish somebody had told me that, because I always was like, I have to have
you want that
this
awesome
job
first,
right now. And it seems like
kind of impossible.
I don't know. Or at least if people were telling me that at the time, I definitely wasn't hearing them, because I was very much like
set in stone.
Set in stone. Yeah, for sure.
And I think especially now, and we've talked about it a couple of times before, is just like with social media, everybody's life looks so perfect, and you think like, oh, I'm the only one going, how can I be getting let go? Like, how am I getting fired? How come I don't have this job? And so many people are struggling in the same way more than you think. You know, I hear about it with my own family members all the time. I'm fortunate enough to be lucky to have this great job that I'm very thankful for. But especially in this time, it's a very weird time. And it's been a very weird year. And I feel like especially for unemployment and figuring out, some people were let go of jobs and they were like, well, you know what? That's not even what I wanted to be doing. How do I find my path to like do what I want to do now? I know
exactly
people in my family were having those conversations with just like, you know, some work in the medical field or whatever it is. And they're just like, well, I'm not even passionate about that. It's been wearing on me. What do I go from here? Where do I go from here? So I feel like if you are listening and you're like struggling with finding a job right now or being let go, in that case, a lot of people are in the same boat, and that doesn't make it better, but I think it makes it a bit more comforting.
Yeah, and it could be a little blessing in disguise moment. Like maybe you were miserable, and now you get to think, well, what do I actually want to do with my life?
For sure. Yeah. To be honest, when I got laid off in last April, I was miserable at my job. I was like, I'm miserable here. I liked my coworkers. You know, I had fun with them. But the job itself was not anything I wanted to do. The company itself was honestly a nightmare, and I was managing the finances, and it was in like an incredible amount of debt, like just shit that was so stressful to me personally when it shouldn't have been. And I was like, I can't separate myself from like the stresses of the company and my own personal stresses. Like they are my own stress
all day.
So I'd like go home and think about like, are we going to make payroll? And I'm like, this isn't even my company. Why am I so fucking worried about this? But you know, then I got laid off for that fucking reason because you can't afford to pay anybody at the time. And I realized, like, I think after 2 weeks or so, I was like, wow, I feel like I have a life again. Like, I feel like I didn't have a life before. I feel like I was so miserable and so upset all the time. Yeah, like I was kind of floating by. Like I just was like, I'd wake up, go to work super late, come home, be exhausted, go to sleep, wake up, go to work. And I was just like depressed and exhausted and whatever. And I didn't really totally realize
have to be like that.
Yeah, it shouldn't be. It really should not be like that.
It's ingrained in everyone's head that like, well, you don't need to like your job, you need to make money. That's not true.
No, it's fucked up. That's my parents have, and my dad specifically has always said that. Like, oh, it's just a job. You don't have to like your job. They changed their tune now because now that I pushed so hard and I fought against them saying that. Now they're like, okay, yeah, no, you don't have to just like accept whatever job that
I
comes
feel like
to you.
That's the way they grew up, though. It's like you need to go to work, whatever it is, pick one out of the 10 options. What is it going to be? You're going to do that. Now there are so many different options. There's so many ways to network your way into a different job. So many different avenues and paths you can take. Obviously, it's going to be hard. Like it's not like we're not saying it's rainbow. Oh, just find what you want to do and it'll happen.
Yeah,
like
it's
a full fucking nightmare. Like prepare yourself for it to be like a fucking nightmare.
But I think if you put in the work, eventually it will pay off. And maybe not for everybody, but at least give it a shot.
At least you can say, well, I tried my best and not wonder
and also,
what if
it might not pay off in exactly the way that you think it will, but it always will pay off in some way. Like there's always something to be learned from every experience that you have. And I know it's absurd saying that. And if I were 5 years ago, I'd be like, who the fuck are you saying that? But it's true. Like I've been doing a lot of, retrospection lately. Is that a word? And thinking about like times in my life and where I thought I was miserable, and I'm like, you know what, actually that was kind of fun, and I'm glad that I had that because I learned how to do this, or I learned how to act in this situation, or whatever. And you never know where things are going to come back to you. So